Welcome to the most electric podcast in sports betting entertainment. My name is Tanner Kern, certified G, bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And this right here, this is G Money Grant Mitchell. We're talking some NBA Game 5 picks tonight, and you can't teach that. Bada boom, man, the people in the room. How you doing? Welcome in to Ride the Line, a new Ride the Line format, Grant.
New and improved Ride the Line. Guys, moving forward, we are going to be providing you betting picks, each of us giving our best picks of the day at least 3 times a week, maybe a little more. We'll see what happens, but we're going to start out with 3 days a week. All the more reason that you should be subscribed to the channel if you aren't, because Tanner and I are 2 betting experts. We kind of work in this industry. This is our job, and we are here to share our picks with you. So we're super excited to bring them to you, and it starts with a potential closeout game in the NBA Finals.
Yes, it does. But before we talk about that, as Grant was saying, make sure you smash that subscribe button, turn post notifications on. We're posting shorts of every one of these picks. We're posting the segments. So make sure you get in it on YouTube and subscribe, people. It's not rocket science. It's never been rocket science. And for the Nuggets, it's not rocket science to beat the Miami Heat. They are just much better, Grant. Before we get into picks, let's just talk about the series for a minute. Do the Denver Nuggets close it out tonight?
I absolutely think so. Heading into this series, if you remember, Tanner, my pick was Nuggets in 5. I didn't expect the Heat to split away from home and then lose 2 straight at home, but the ends justify the means, and it looks like we're getting Nuggets of 5. There's been not a whole lot the Heat can do to slow down this Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic pairing. Even in their off nights, they're still the 2 most impactful players on the court. Some of the Heat role players have been fading. Gabe Vincent hasn't really shown up the last couple of games. Max Strus completely absent from the series. Caleb Martin, maybe not a one-hit wonder, but a one-series wonder. They just don't have enough, simply put. And when you're facing a more talented team, you have to be the team that's playing more intelligently and hustling more, and the Heat haven't been able to do that either. So, yeah, I absolutely think the Nuggets are going to close it out in 5.
No, it's embarrassing. Miami shouldn't even be here the way they look. Denver is just much better, and it just pains me because it just shows how much the Celtics blew it if they could have just won Game 7. I still think they lose the Nuggets, but they're definitely more competitive against Denver. But anyways, Grant, let's get into some picks for the day. We're each going to give 3 picks a day. That could change, could be more or less depending on the slate, but we're going to stay around 3 picks. You want me to start, Grant?
Yeah, let's go. Let's hear it.
All right, Nuggets minus 5.5 first half. The Miami Heat totally outmatched, as we were saying. They haven't covered a first half once in this series. I think 5.5 is a very fair line for the Nuggets. I do like Denver to cover the 9 points tonight for the full game, but I think the first half is just a much better spread because when you look at Miami, they're very slow starters. They have not been able to turn it up early in this series. When they have turned it up, it has been late, but it's been few and far in between. Miami just has not looked good. If you think the Heat's crew of Jimmy Butler, who has just not been aggressive at all in this series, Bam Adebayo, Duncan Robinson, Gabe Vincent, and Caleb Martin can play with the Nuggets, you're crazy, especially early. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray running the pick and roll. It's been unstoppable. That's why Jamal Murray's assists have been so high, because he can just dump it down to Nikola Jokic in the paint, and it's going in every single time. Thing about Denver that I love, when they get Miami down on one knee, they've been able to finish them off. I think we're going to see that in the second quarter, and they cover the 5.5 points.
I've been on all sorts of different spreads throughout this series. I've done regular spreads, live spreads, first quarter, first half, fourth quarter. I've been through it all, so I don't hate you going to this first half. Personally, I would be more comfortable with the full game spread because while Miami is a bunch of slow starters, their season is on the line. They've got to come out with something. The first quarter spread in the last game, granted, the Nuggets did cover, but if we just look at the actual differential, the Nuggets were only up 4. That wouldn't cover this line. I think Miami could come out playing the best defense that we've seen in this series. It's just a matter of time before the Nuggets are able to figure it out. I don't know if that happens in the first half or the second half, so I would be going with them in the second half, but if I'm expecting them to win by double digits, then I can't really say it's impossible for them to be covering this first half spread, so I don't think this is bad at all.
They may come out on fire, but like on the schoolyard when you're playing pickup basketball and you got some really good kids going against some bad kids and they play hard for a few minutes, it's kind of like that, Grant. Just not the Miami Heat can't play with the Denver Nuggets in any way whatsoever. I'm shocked they were able to win one game in the series with how they look.
Yeah, and it's weird because after that game, it did look like they were going to be more competitive. Yeah, like I said, I picked the Nuggets in 5. I was looking at that thinking maybe we're going at least 6, but it's just been downhill ever since. And losing 2 games at home, that's kind of inexcusable. Now you're going to Denver where they were 34-7 in the regular season, won every game except for one in the playoffs. I don't see this series going that much longer.
All right, Grant. Give it to me.
So my favorite pick of this game, and I'm normally a major market better, spread, money line, total, but my favorite bet is the over on the fourth quarter points total of 50.5. Now, why is that? A lot of the times, think about March Madness. Put yourself in that mind frame. When you get to the end of games, final 5 minutes or so, you're going, wow, the under hit again. I didn't bet it because I'm stupid. And then in the last minute, the last 45 seconds, there will be like 20, 30 points scored. And suddenly the game goes over and it's not even close. It looks like it was never even the question. Why is that? And why do I think that's going to happen in this game? Well, this is the potential last game of the season. And if the Nuggets are going to be ahead, like you and I are both expecting them to be, that means at the end of the fourth quarter, the Heat are going to be fouling the Nuggets because they're going to throw everything they have at the wall, try to extend the game as long as they can. More fouls means more free throws. More free throws with an excellent free throw shooting team means more points. And then on the other end, if you're Michael Malone, your team is up 8 points with 40 seconds left. You've just been fouled. You make your free throws. What are you telling your team? Just don't foul them. Let them score. If they want to take a layup, don't even contest it. If they want to shoot a three, leave them wide open. Let them do whatever they want. I think we're going to have a flurry of points in that final 60 to 90 seconds or so, and that's really going to drive that total.
Yeah, I love that. I'm tailing that 100%. That's a great play, Grant. I think, when I look back to game 4, the Heat were still fouling down like 13 at that point. So if that's the case in game 4, they're going to be doing it even more in game 5 with their season on the line. That's a sharp play. That's a sharp play.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Tanner.
That's sharp. All right, let me get into mine. This isn't as sharp. It's just going with the trend in this series. But Jimmy Butler under 27.5 points. Been absolutely no aggression from Jimmy Butler throughout the series. We've been waiting for that Jimmy Butler 35-plus point game. I just don't see it coming tonight. He's not gone over his total, or only gone over his total once in 4 games of this series. He's come close to the number at times, but it just simply hasn't been good enough. And he's been efficient from the field. He shot 53% in the last game. He scored 25 points, but the combination of the slow pace of play and just his limited level of aggression has not allowed him to go over this total. I believe in game 3, they dropped the line down to like 24.5, and he finished with 28 points. That was one of his best games in the series. And if that's his best game, if 28 is his best game, and the total is 27.5, I have no problem going under with how he's played here. So going to take the under on Jimmy Butler points. Hopefully he doesn't score tonight, and I just don't think he's going to.
Jimmy Butler, I feel like his line has been fairly close to what he's actually scored throughout this series. So if you have a lean on either side, then I'd say go for it, honestly. I don't think there's really a bad pick on either side of it. He has been kind of shockingly unaggressive in a lot of spots. And I know that he's not a raw scorer. He's not a Kyrie Irving. He's not a Devin Booker. He's not somebody who just only wants to score the ball and do nothing else. But still, you're the best player by a mile on your team. You've got to step up. You've got to come out with something big in these playoffs, especially in the finals. You can't just do it in the first round, and he hasn't done it. So, yeah, as far as the under goes, he's had games where he hasn't shot the ball well. He's had games where he hasn't really shot much at all. Wouldn't surprise me to see one of those again.
Yeah, I mean, if it was 25.5 or even 24.5 like it was in game 3, I'd be willing to go over on it because it's a do or die game. But when his best game's 28 points and his line's at 27.5 points, and there's been 4 games in the series, I just can't trust him with how unaggressive he has been throughout this series. So going to ride with that. Grant, you got a player prop for me? What is it?
Yeah, my last 2 picks are both going to be in the assists market, and they're both going to be from Nuggets players. So we'll start with the man who's going to win Finals MVP. There really should be no doubt about it unless Jamal Murray breaks Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point record tonight. Nikola Jokic, over 9.5 assists. He's gone over 9.5, which is just 10. So I'm just going to say double digits. He's had double-digit assists in 11 of his last 19 games. He is averaging 9.8 assists per game in the playoffs, and he's gone over in 2 of 4 finals games. The reason that I'm so confident in it is I expect a defensive change, which I'm going to touch more on in my next pick. But I think what that's going to do is that's going to put the ball back in Jokic's hands more as a playmaker, whereas he's been giving it up to other guys, having a lot of hockey assists and setting up a lot of his teammates. I also think the Nuggets are going to be playing in transition a lot. That's where their offensive rating has been through the roof. It was over 150 as of a game ago. They're back at home again, where I said 34-7 in the regular season. undefeated except for one game in the playoffs. The Miami Heat really haven't shown anything, any sort of ability to stop this Nuggets offense. And when the Nuggets get just moving the ball however they want to, they're so good at exploiting mismatches. Like, how many times have we seen Aaron Gordon playing bully ball on Gabe Vincent or Max Strus and just driving them through the rim? Michael Porter Jr. cutting out of the corner. I think it's a big game for Jokic. I think he closes out this series in a memorable fashion.
Yeah, I like him to score tonight. I like him to have the assist. I like him to do it all, honestly. So I would never want to go under on any line for Nikola Jokic, possibly his PRA, just because we've seen if he doesn't score, it's much harder to hit the PRA, and he can do so many other things. Like, he could have a great night, assist and rebounds wise, but not come close to that PRA just because he's not scoring as much. So good play here. I like it. And I love that comment on the Nuggets exploiting Miami's mismatches. We've seen it multiple times. Gabe Vincent has been posting up Nikola Jokic. It's been hilarious to watch. Kyle Lowry's been posting up Nikola Jokic. It's funny. It's funny.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I get that you don't want to overcommit and mess up your defensive structure, but that's just giving them 2 points. Remember a couple of games ago, we said that when Jokic touched the ball in the paint, the Nuggets averaged 2.3 points per possession.
Yep.
2.3 points per possession. Like, I said it on the show. You would have been better off just giving them a free dunk.
Yeah, it's going in every time. And then they're making their threes when they do have the opportunities to as well. All right, Grant, my final play here. I like Bam Adebayo to have a big night. He's been having a big night throughout the entire postseason. He's been the one guy on Miami that's been playing hard. He's doing the best he can to defend Nikola Jokic. Sometimes it's obviously not going in his favor just because Nikola Jokic is one of the best players in the world. But I do like Bam to go over at 19.5 points. He's gone over 19.5, so hit 20 in all 4 games of the series. It's going to be a tight line, but like you were saying in the fourth quarter, I do think the Nuggets are going to allow the Miami Heat to come down and score a little bit more, not get the fouls, not get the extra opportunities. That's going to lead to some points for Bam there. And just with Butler taking a back seat, somebody's got to score for Miami. It's got to be Adebayo. He's ascended to the primary scorer on this team. I love them dumping the ball down low to him, and I love him putting it in the hoop and going over 19.5 points.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what he's averaging in the finals, but I know he's been in that high teens, low 20s for all 4 of the games so far. He's also been starting the games most effectively. He's been putting up most of the early shots. He's been bringing the ball down and setting up the offense pretty much all of the first 2-3 possessions in the last couple of games. So, yeah, as far as somebody does have to score points for Miami, and Jimmy Butler doesn't really seem like he's going to be that guy. Certainly your pick indicates he's not going to be. So that would leave Bam as the guy to do it. And although he is getting outplayed by Jokic, like you said, Bam's not playing bad. In fact, he's playing really well. It's just Jokic is so clearly the best player in this series that it's easy to forget about him.
Yep, definitely.
So my last pick here, that was your last pick, right?
Yep, last pick.
My last pick, I'm going to go with the other center just talked about Jokic. I'm going to talk about Jamal Murray, and I'm going to talk about his assist total. Now, I know that Jamal Murray has gone over double-digit assists in all 4 games of the finals so far. First guy to ever do that in his first 4 finals games of his career. But for the odds makers to have Jokic's assists just one more higher than Murray's, Jokic at 9.5, Murray at 8.5, I don't like that. And the reason that I really don't like it is Jamal Murray has been getting a bunch of assists, not because he's completely transformed as a player or he's changed his approach. What the Miami Heat have done is they've blitzed the pick and roll, which is essentially they've sent a double team at him and trapped him whenever he's run a pick and roll, usually with Jokic, but Aaron Gordon, whoever it might be. I don't think they're going to do that because Murray has been dissecting them. What they basically said is, we're going to force you into one of your weaknesses, which quote unquote, because scoring is what you want to do. That's your primary function. That's why you're in the team. So they got the ball out of his hands and they figured out, oh, wow, Jamal Murray can actually pass the ball really well. And so I think they're going to go away from that. I don't think there's going to be any blitzes or doubles on the pick and roll. I think they're going to be switching a lot more. That's going to keep the Nuggets offense more running at its usual rhythm. And we know that that revolves around Jokic pretty much entirely. So I think Murray finishes this game with somewhere like 4 or 5, maybe scores high 20, even low 30 points. But he's definitely going to be more of a scorer in this game. And that's also why I like Jokic to have the over on his assists.
Yeah, I don't love this one just because even if they don't blitz the pick and roll, when you look at it, when Gabe Vincent and Caleb Martin and Kyle Lowry and all these guys are posting up Nikola Jokic, that's just an easy 2 points right there. So if Jamal Murray can get the ball down low to them in that situation, it's going the hoop, and that's an assist. So I would probably stay away from this one, but I like the logic.
Thank you. And that's all that matters. And guys, we're going to be keeping tabs on everything. We're going to keep track of our record as we go through. So hopefully, I don't know how we want to update them every day or every show, every week, but we're going to have some sort of way to keep you up to date with what we've got going on with our picks. But yeah, this was the first episode of our betting show. We're going to be back on Wednesday, obviously, and then we'll also be back on Friday. And maybe we'll be talking some NBA if the Miami Heat can extend it. Probably won't, because this thing's probably over in 5 games. We're going to have baseball. We're still going to have our NFL previews coming to you guys. So all sorts of content, like we said at the top of the show. Make sure that you are subscribed if you aren't already, because you don't want to miss out on what we've got cooking up for you.
Yeah, we will be not. We won't be talking about basketball on Friday. No chance. Or Wednesday. No chance.
Yeah, on Wednesday. Yeah. We're definitely not talking about it on Friday. This thing's not going 7.
It's not going 7. So we will not be talking about basketball. This series ends tonight, and then we will be going into our baseball picks with our record there. This is a little appetizer because the basketball picks are ending tonight. It's sad. Maybe we'll get some WNBA picks in there. I had a blast. I went to a WNBA game the other night. I had a blast. So maybe we'll do that. But it's pretty much baseball moving forward because this series is over.
Yep, this series is over, and the show is also over, so we're going to get out of here. Like we said, subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Like the video if you did enjoy it. Comment, let us know what your favorite picks for Game 5 of the NBA Finals are, and we will see you all next time on Ride the Line.